Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Taz, and this is your gentle flow to restorative practice here in the Yoga Room's virtual yoga studio, also in my living room. So for today's practice, it will be super handy if you had to hand some sort of blanket or thin cushion, something like that. We'll use this perhaps to cushion under the knees if you have sensitive knees when we're on all fours. But you can also use it in the restorative part of the practice. That would be really handy. So a blanket or thin cushion of some kind. Also for the restorative part of the practice, I've got a dressing gown belt. If you happen to have a yoga belt, that's really useful. Otherwise, anything that you can sort of tie up into a little knot. So maybe a sort of thin scarf or a tie or something, but dressing gown belt, hopefully most people will have that somewhere at home. And then also for the restorative part of the practice, we're going to make use of a chair. So I'm going to use a dining room table chair. You could also use, if you don't have a chair, your sofa or bed, or if you've got a very sturdy, quite low kind of table or bedside table or something like that, you could use that. So get all your things and get set up. If you enjoy practicing with music, just a reminder that as always, there's a Spotify playlist in the description. So feel free to get that lined up and ready to go. As with any yoga practice, please take really good care of yourself. Rest if your body or your mind are calling for rest, and please don't push into pain or strain. And be particularly mindful, please, if you are working with any kind of an injury or managing a long-term health condition. Do whatever you need to do, take any variations as you need. So we're going to come to start lying on the back of the body. So as you come to lie down, just allow your body to land however your body wants to land today. And as you arrive on the back of the body, legs and arms in whatever configuration feels good for you, just take a few moments with your eyes open to look around the space that you're in and just soak it up. Noticing any textures, shapes, colors. And then once you feel sufficiently oriented to your external environment, just closing your eyes or softening your gaze. And in your own time, taking a few audible exhales. So inhale arrives like a sweet, soft whisper through the nose. And just allow the exhale to fall out of the mouth. A few more like that in your own time. And you can even make the exhale a bit more of a sigh. Whatever feels good for you. And then eventually allowing just your natural rhythm of breath to settle. So if it's okay for you to do so, breathing in and out of the nose and not controlling, judging, or changing how you breathe here. And keep your awareness rooted in your breath. Just noticing sweet, soft whisper of inhale as the breath arrives. And the release of exhale as the breath leaves. So maybe with each inhale, there's a sense of spaciousness as the body fills with breath. And with each exhale, just feeling a dropping down into the ground, a sense of a releasing as the breath leaves. Just paying close attention to this very ordinary flow of inhale, of exhale, and how that feels in your body in this moment. Now considering what inspired you to practice today. Taking a moment to have a little think and see what it was that brought you to your mat. And whatever inspired you, let that serve as your personal intention as we move and we breathe together. Maybe bringing the palms of the hands to rest on the front of the body, or hands in prayer at chest or at forehead, whatever's more meaningful for you. Just sealing that intention in before we begin. Now, within the next breath or two, the eyes blink open and begin to reach arms long, legs long, and take a full body stretch. Ooh, might feel nice to have a little yawn here, little wriggle. Now keep the left arm and the left leg extended and gather your right knee into your chest. Bring the right hand onto the right knee. So long through the left side, right knee in towards the chest, and then bring the knee out wide a little bit, like you're aiming the kneecap for your armpit. Have a little bit of a sense of energy activation through the left side, so you're not totally floppy. There's a little bit of a reach through left arm, maybe flexing left foot, heel presses out. Keep that, and then slowly with the right fingertips staying on the right kneecap, begin to circle the right knee free space. So as you circle the knee, the thigh bone stirring in the socket of the hips here. And it doesn't have to be a very big movement. It can be really, really small. And notice if as you move, you're sort of rocking all over the place, and see if you can, if that's happening, just make the movement a little bit smaller. So it is localized just to thigh bone, moving in the hip socket. The rest of the body staying relatively still. And then eventually taking those circles in the opposite direction. Breath steady and easeful as you move. From here, release, right leg long, right arm long, reach both arms, both legs. Pause, just notice if there's any perceptible difference between one side and the other. There might not be, and that's okay. And then keep the right arm and the right leg extended. Gather left knee into chest, so the left hand comes onto the left kneecap. Maintain that sense of a little bit of energy through the right side, a little bit of a reach through the right fingers, a press out through the right heel, and then bring the left knee towards the left armpit, and then start to take those circles with the leg through space. Just breathing easy as you move. And then eventually taking those circles in the opposite direction as well. And then slowly releasing left leg long, left arm long. Pausing, body extended. And then slowly gathering both knees into your chest. Bring the knees wide into the armpits. Feel the back of your body pour into the ground. And then slowly rolling onto whichever side is more comfortable for you, or might depend on how much space you've got. Pausing on the side of the body for a moment. And then it's a gentle press into the ground that eases you up. And from here, we'll come on to all fours. So this is a good time to grab your blanket or thin cushion if you've got sensitive knees. On all fours, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And we'll have the tops of their feet on the floor for this, please. So not tucking the toes, tops of their feet or 10 toenails on the floor. Root down through your left hand, pick up the right hand as if from the elbow, and then give the hand a really good shake. So shaking out the right hand, maybe shaking out the elbow, maybe shaking out the arm, make it a bit bigger, and then bring it smaller back into the hand. And then stop shaking, hover the hand just above the mat and place it down with absolute clarity. Root down through the right hand. Pick up the left hand and give it a really good shake. Shake it up. And then shake out maybe the rest of the arm. Get a bit wild. And then make it a bit smaller. Bring it back into the hand. And then pause shaking. Hand hovers just above the mat and place it down with clarity. From here, we'll come into a few rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, the belly drops into the space underneath you. The tailbone lifts, the collarbones are broad. With your exhale, the hands press, the shins press as the back rounds up to the sky, into the space above you. With your inhale, almost like you're dragging the palms towards the knees towards the palms, tailbone lifts, collarbones broad. With your exhale, taking it the other way. Continue like that with your own rhythm of breath. And if that particular breath pattern of inhaling cow and exhaling cat doesn't feel good for you, just move with any rhythm of breath that feels good in your body today. Now you're either going to stay with this cat and cow, or the next time you come into the cow pose, the tailbones lifted, crown lifted, collarbones broad, as you exhale, big toes to touch, pour the feet back towards the heels, settle into a child's pose. And then hands press, shins press, big toes separate as you roll forward and then come back into your cow pose. So moving between all fours and child's pose here. Taking some movements in the spine, and you might find as you do this, then it becomes a more continuous movement. But you naturally start to introduce any little sort of flourishes, like you're riffing on it almost. Just starting to feel into what your body wants in this moment. What feels good for you? What's an enjoyable way to move? And you might have decided that an enjoyable way for you to move is just to stay in the cat and the cow. And that's okay too. Eventually, within the next breath or two, coming through to somewhere in the center, so you're neither flexed nor extended. And from your all fours, bring the hands a little bit wider. Move the hands forward one space. Index fingers point directly forward, fingers spread. Now tuck the toes and send the knees back a little tiny bit behind the hips. And keeping the toes tucked, the hands press and the knees hover. And then from here, feel like you're pressing your mat forward as the hips lift up and back, and you land into your downward dog. And as you arrive, bend one leg and straighten the other. Then take that the other way, opposite leg bends, opposite leg straightens. And you might like to continue to pedal through the feet. Maybe getting the hips a little bit more involved. Perhaps shaking the head no, nodding the head yes. And eventually pausing in stillness, ears in line with the upper arms, gaze between the big toes. Keep a little bend in your knees. Have a sense that the inner thighs are rolling in towards each other into the back of your mat, up and back. Now the feet we're going to keep exactly where they are and begin to slowly pat the hands back. So you come into a forward fold right at the back of your mat. And here, bring the feet a distance that's comfortable for you. We'll pause in the forward fold just for a few breaths. So you might like the feet a bit wider, a bit closer together. And we'll all take hold of opposite elbows. And either hanging over the fronts of the legs or bringing elbows to rest on the thighs. And wherever you are, can you keep a bend in the knees? Have a sense that you're angling your tailbone up to the sky. The head and neck hang heavy. Maybe flubbering the lips here. Maybe having a little sway from side to side. With each exhale, can you feel that sense of release, just like when we were on the back of the body? Just letting everything get a bit heavier. And then eventually releasing hold of the elbows so the arms dangle down. Keep a bend in the knees and start to roll up the spine. So the head, the neck, the arms hang heavy. Stacking the vertebra as you unfurl and come up to standing. And eventually taking a few rolls of the shoulders here. And now the feet root down, arms float out and up. So stay where you are. I'm just turning to face you so you can see me. Arms float out and up. Keep the right arm lifted. Left arm floats down. Inhale, reach through the right side. Root down through the right foot. As you exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, coming back through center, twice more like that. The exhale brings you into a side bend. Inhaling, reach. Last time as you exhale, keep rooted through the right side as you side bend to the left. This time as you come up, the left arm joins the right as the arms reach up. And then there's a simple swap. So the right fingers float down, have a heaviness to the right fingers here. Inhale, reach through left side. As you exhale, side bending. Twice more like that with your own breath. Inhale to come through to stand and exhale, root down through left side as you side bend. Let's take that one more time. Exhaling. Getting long through the whole of that left side. And this time as you come up, the right arm floats up. Both arms reach here. See the finger pads meet overhead. Maybe the palms meet. And then as you bend your knees, send the seat back, fold forward. Release the palms through your midline. Hands eventually come to the ground, bend the knees as much as you need. With your inhale, fingertips to the shins and look forward. With your exhale, fold. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, fingertips to shins, crown of head reaches forward. With your exhale, fold. And then from here, the hands start to pad forward, find your downward dog. Pausing for a moment, gaze between the big toes. And then super slowly, the knees come all the way to the ground. As the knees land, adjust your hands so they're more under the shoulders than up to the sides. Tops of the feet on the floor. As you inhale, there's a dropping the belly, collarbones broad, tailbone lifts. As you exhale, big toes to touch, child's pose. So from here, just the arms reach forward, palms root. Roll forward onto your all fours, and then feet separate. Keep the tops of the feet on the floor as you roll all the way down. Belly meets the floor, chest, forehead. From here, we'll come into Sphinx pose. So forearms settled onto the floor, the elbows either right under the shoulders or a little bit forward of the shoulders. Find a position that feels good for you. Tops of the feet on the floor, and the feet are hip width here. Fingers nice and spread. Can you have a sense that you're pulling the chest forward through the pillars of your upper arms? So you might even feel the feet dragging a bit. Here, can you keep that press of tops of feet into the floor? Energy through the legs. Breathing steady. So keep all of that and super slowly turn to look at your right heel, over the right shoulder. And then keeping the movement really slow, just tracing the horizon line as you turn all the way back through to face forward. And then slowly turning over the left shoulder to look at the left heel. And then it's an easeful turn back to face forward. From here, elbows slide out. Bring the forehead down to the floor, hands come under the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Ease yourself up, come through to all fours. Now from your all fours, we'll keep both sets of toes tucked. Everything else stays the same, and just slide the right leg long. So the right toes are still tucked. From here, you want to press right heel into the space behind the heel, so you get a real sense of length from heel to crown of head. And then slide onto the top of the right foot, and the right knee slides forward, forward, forward under the chest. Toes tuck as the right toes start to extend back leg long. So continue like this. And you might like to inhale, reach leg long. Exhale, float leg forward. But up to you. If you like that breath pattern, then go for it. And can you have a sense here, like the toes are like little paintbrushes, just painting a long stripe forward and back on your mat. And then eventually, next time the right knee comes forward, land the shin as far forward as it can go. And here, my right shin is facing forward, so it's like a sort of forward-facing pigeon, I guess. And come up onto the fingertips and slide the left leg back. And keep the left toes tucked, coming up onto the fingertips. Press down into the legs to broaden through the chest, crown of head reaching up. And then slowly turn over right shoulder to look back. Maybe you can see that extended left heel. And then like you're tracing horizon line coming to face front forward. And take that look over the left shoulder. Say hello to your back heel. Coming back through to center. Plant the hands either side, framing that front knee. Then the back knee slides into all fours, knee under hip. Front leg slides back, knee under hip. Inhale, come into your cow pose. The belly drops, tailbone lifts, crown lifts. As you exhale, big toes to touch, easing back into child's pose. Now just reach arms forward, plant the hands. Roll forward as you inhale onto all fours, and then feet separate with your exhale. There's a rolling down, chest, forehead, eventually down. We'll come back into Sphinx. Forearms resting to the floor, elbows under shoulders, fingers nice and spread. This time, we'll keep facing forward. Inhale here. As you exhale, start to slowly bring the chin towards the chest, like you're turning in to look at your belly. And then inhale, extending back up. Take that a few times with your breath. So keep the energy through the legs and the sense of pulling chest through the pillars of your upper arms. As you come up into the inhale, be mindful not to crunch into the back of the neck. You want to keep a length through the back of the neck so the gaze stays forward and down. Take that one more time in your own rhythm of breath. And then once you've completed, elbows slide out as the chest and the forehead come down. Hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes. Lift the seat and we'll come to all fours. So again, just having the hands pretty much much under the shoulders. Both sets of toes stay tucked. Keep everything rooted and just slide the left toes back. Have a sense of a press through the left heel. Get long through the whole of the left side. And then coming onto the top of the left foot, slide left knee forward. And then glide left toes back with the toes tucked. And it's a real slide and glide with that leg. And maybe it's nice to inhale, reach back. Exhale, slide forward. Keep the gaze just down so the back of the neck is long. And next time the knee comes forward, bring it as far forward as you can and land the whole shin down. So you're coming up onto the fingertips, slide right leg long, but keep the toes tucked and keep the right knee on the floor here. Have a sense that you're pulling yourself forward, and with that, finding a broadness through the chest. And then super slowly turning over left shoulder. So look at the extended heel. And coming back to face forward. And then looking over the right shoulder. And coming back to face forward. Here, the hands find the floor, palms rooted. With that rooting of palms, back knee slides under hip. Front knee slides back, find your all fours. And then inhale, coming into cow pose. As you exhale, bring the big toes to touch and then seat towards the heels. And this time, bring your knees a little bit wider. So we're going to pause in child's pose. And you can either have the arms forward or back, forehead to the floor. If your forehead doesn't comfortably meet the floor, you can make a fist with one hand, maybe with both hands, and support the forehead in this way. You can also bring the elbows to the floor, make a little cup for the forehead. And rest here. So wherever you are, just finding a little bit of contact, either forehead to floor, forehead to one or two fists, or forehead cupped in the palms of the hands. Just pausing for a moment here. Now, wherever you are, slowly the hands start to pad back towards the knees as you bring the torso up to vertical, crown over pelvis, and then seat moves to one side. And we'll extend the legs out. Now here, your blanket or thin cushion will be really handy. So we're going to come to seated. So if you've got a blanket, I recommend folding it a few times and making yourself a little perch, or you can just use a cushion. You could also roll up the end of your mat and sit on it that way. I've got a blanket, so I'm going to use that. And as you come to sit, we'll come to sit cross-legged and bring your right shin in front of your left. I'll switch actually, so mirroring you. Your right shin is in front of your left. Flex through the feet and feel the outer edges of the feet in contact with the ground here. If it's not comfortable for you to sit like this, you can even just cross at the ankles so the feet move further away from you. Have the fingertips either side of you and just take a moment to get really connected with whatever's under your seat. So you might just like wriggle from side to side, get really, really connected here, and feel long through the spine. And then as you inhale, keep all of that arm's reach out and up. Now the right hand stays where it is, left palm floats all the way down to the ground, meets the ground. Inhale, reach through right side. As you exhale, side bend over to the left. Take that twice more, so just like we did when we were standing. This time we've also got a bit of an opening in the hips. Last time, root down through the right sit bone as you come into the side bend. And then easing up. From here, that lifted right arm swims all the way behind you, right fingertips find the floor. Then the left hand comes to the right knee. Here, inhale, receive the breath. As you exhale, start to twist from the belly. So you're already in a little bit of a twist. Twisting over towards your right. Maybe that's enough for you today. Maybe you want to use the breath, especially the exhale can sometimes help us connect a bit more to that spiraling of the body. And wherever you are, can you keep the head and the neck free, the jaw easeful, so you're not like clenching the jaw, trying to go a bit deeper. And then super slowly, just turning the head to look over towards the front. And then unraveling the whole body. So from here, either hands behind you or hands floating as dramatic as you like. Ta-da. Switch the legs. So this time it's the left shin in front of the right. And then again, just have a little wriggle of feel the connection of the parts of your body that are in contact with the ground underneath you. I mean, just feel really rooted, like you're pressing down. Keep that press and the arms reach out and up. Now keep the left arm reaching, the right palm comes to find the ground to the side of you. Inhale, reach, stay rooted through left side as you exhale and side bend over to the right. Twice more like that with your own breath. Inhale brings you up. Exhaling, side bend. One more like that. Inhale, reach. Exhaling, side bend. This time as you come up, that lifted left arm swims all the way behind you. Left fingertips find the floor. Then the right hand comes to the left knee. Inhale, receive breath, and you're already in a twist. This is great if you want to stay here. If you like, maybe with your exhale, there's a little bit more of a spiraling over towards the left. Just notice if you're gripping, bracing, try to release any of that. And see if you can just breathe easeful into the body. And super slowly, just turning your head to face front forward. And then unraveling the whole body. From here, we'll extend the legs forward and just give them a bit of a shake. So just a shake, 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 shake on the floor. You can't do it too much because it will bang and make a horrible noise in the microphone, but just shaking legs on the floor. Great, and then bring the heels to meet the floor, legs nice and bent, and start to windscreen wiper knees from side to side. So you can stay there, and I'm just going to show you how we're going to set up as we transition into the restorative part of the practice. So here you will need your blanket or thin cushion if you don't have a blanket, your dressing gown belt, which might be a yoga belt, which might be a tie or a thin scarf. And I'm going to use a dining table chair. You might just want to use your sofa or the edge of your bed, something like that. So I'll show you first of all, while you're seated, you're going to use the blanket to come under the head. And you don't want it to be too high of a lift, it's just a little bit of a lift, a little bit of a support. And then I'm going to sit quite close, or bring my seat, quite close to the chair, so that I can bring the calves to rest on the seat of the chair. Now this is a good sized chair for my legs because the seat is right in the backs of my knees. So you might need to adjust a little bit by using cushions if your chair is very low or if you're very tall. And then here, just readjusting under my head there, I'm going to take the dressing gown belt and bring it to the mid-thigh. And at the mid-thigh, I'm going to tie my legs together, but I'm going to keep them hip width. So my knees are hip width, my feet are hip width. And this just means, as I tie this up, that the legs can completely relax here. And once you've got that, and this is around the mid-thigh, the knot's in the middle, so it's not touching my skin, and getting settled with the blanket or cushion under the head. So take a moment to set yourself up. So bringing the calves to rest. And the legs are really supported here, not just with the chair, but also with the belt around the mid-thigh. And if you happen to have longer hair and you've got it tied up, I recommend untying it. If you happen to wear glasses, I recommend taking those off and placing them somewhere safe. And then as you come to rest, just take a moment to adjust the blanket or cushion that's under the head and take the hands to the back of the skull and lift the head just a little bit. And very gently, just lengthen the back of the head as you bring the back of the skull to rest down onto the support. So there's a sense of a length, not an over tucking, just a length through the back of the neck. And then from here, just bringing the arms, the hands, whatever position feels good for you. So you might have them out to the sides or in a T shape or in a cactus shape. And give yourself permission to take a few audible exhales. To just get settled, to have a little bit of a wriggle and wiggle if you need to. And then eventually, maybe eyes closing or just gaze soft. Just allowing the body to rest, completely supported. Can you allow your bones to be heavy? No muscular effort. And either keeping the arms exactly as they are, know that that is completely okay, or bringing the palms of your hands to rest on the front of your body. Either with your palms resting here or without. Just bring your awareness to your breath. The soft, slow whisper of your inhale, serving as an invitation into spaciousness in your body. And the gentle release of your exhale, like an invitation into softening. So if you have the hands resting on the front of the body, or even if you don't, you might really start to notice how that feels in your body. So as the inhale arrives, body spacious, rising to meet the palms if they're there, or meet the space around you if they're not. And then release, relaxing of the body with your exhale. Again, if the palms are resting on you, you might notice that real sense of a softening as the breath leaves. Just paying close attention to those sensations of your breath moving your body moving your breath. And can you allow each exhale that invites a softening to just pour from the center of your body all the way into the edges, as though that softening is coloring in the whole of your body from its center. And with that, maybe there is a sense of the front of your body pouring into the back of your body, the back of your body pouring into the ground, into the props, feeling the support of the ground as you rest. And I'll take my voice away now and leave you in this place of rest. But don't worry, I will come back for you. Just allow yourself to bathe in the stillness and the silence in the meantime. Okay, so from here, very, very slowly and very mindful of any props, the chair or sofa or bed that you're resting the calves on. And begin to bring the knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then gently rolling onto one side or the other. And pause here on the side of the body, just allow the body to land, meet the ground. And you soften your belly completely. And not moving just yet, but just so you know where we're going. In a moment, we're going to ease up and come very briefly to seated. Rearrange our individual spaces as we need so that we can come to find Shavasana. So within the next breath or two, Gently easing yourself into a very easy seat, so the head and neck heavy. No formality around this at all. And then just making any changes you need to the space that you're in. So for me, I just need to move my chair away a little bit. I'm going to put my legs right through the center, underneath the chair legs. And then easing back down. So keeping the tie on the legs. Finding the blanket or cushion back underneath the skull. And then releasing as you're ready. Just knowing now that there's no shape to make. There's no place to be. Resting. Shavasana. Welcoming a conscious inhale through the nose. Releasing the exhale out of the mouth. Just allowing these first few conscious movements to inspire a little bit of movement, like a flicker in the fingertips, a flicker of the toe tips. Maybe the back of the head starts to roll on the ground, just massaging the back of the skull. Eventually, slowly gathering knees into the chest, just enough to reach down and untie the legs here. And then maybe dropping feet to the floor, keeping knees bent and reaching arms overhead. Finding length through the sides of the body, really having a yawn, if that feels good. And then rolling onto whichever side feels better for you, where you have a bit more space, and pausing on the side of the body just for a moment. Feeling that ever steady support of the ground underneath you. The ever-present support of your breath within you, and the embrace of the space all around you. From here, very gentle press into that steady ground, eases you up, and come to find a comfortable seat. So cross-legged or kneeling, and feel free to pop the little blanket or cushion under the seat. I like to have a bit of support. And as you come to seated, just closing the eyes or bringing the gaze soft. The arms reach out and up. The finger pads meet overhead, and as you release the palms, pass your face down to your chest. Remind yourself of the intention that you set at the start of the practice. And thank yourself for showing up for that intention today. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Thank you so much for joining me today and for supporting the wonderful studio that is the Yoga Room. Hope to see you really, really soon. Take good care of yourselves. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks, my loves. See you soon, I hope.